We pray for your Spirit to lead us each step of this new year. We ask for your wisdom, for your strength and power with which to guide our decisions. We pray for your protection over our families, friends, and members of our military. We ask that you would provide for the needs of our residents and that they shall prosper. Help us to be generous, kind, and look to the needs of others. It is in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay. You have the minutes from the January 2nd council meeting in the packet. Oh, roll call. Sorry. Roll call.
Baker?
Yep.
Barth?
Here.
Bassett?
Yes.
Beverly?
Yes.
Ridgway?
Present.
Jones?
Here.
Okay. Now you have the January 2nd regular council meeting minutes in the packet for your review. I assume you already reviewed them.
I move we accept them as written.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Jones?
Yes.
Ridgway?
Yes.
Bassett?
Yes.
Beverly?
Yes.
Barth?
Yes.
Baker?
Yep. And then,
I say, can I make a motion to amend the agenda and have Denise Sutter give her presentation at the beginning?
you may make a motion.
I would second that.
Roll call, please.
Jones?
Yes.
Beverly?
Yes.
Barth?
Yes.
Ridgway?
Yes.
Bassett?
Yes.
Baker?
Yep. Great. Denise, would you like to go up to the podium, please, and address council?
Do I have to turn this on or something?
Well, hopefully Bill should be able to tell if your sound's on.
I normally talk kind of loud anyways. What Dave Fine and I are here, I am the president of the Christmas Cruise Through. He is the vice president of the Christmas Cruise Through. We are getting down to the very final negotiation with the fairgrounds. As it appears, I would say that their chances of it working out at the fairgrounds are very slim at this point. So we are looking for another location for the Christmas Cruise Through. One of the locations that I had thought about was the city park here in Hicksville. Another location is Augley's Village, and of course, then we've got outside counties, being Williams County Fairgrounds wants us, as does Paulding County. We, the Cruise Through Board, would prefer to keep it either in Defiance County, but specifically Hicksville if possible. Easier for us to decorate. We're proud of our community. We want it to grow. All of the obvious reasons we want to stay here. The support we have from the town is enormous. So we don't have a plan for traffic flow. It will cripple many of our side streets because you don't have the snake like the fairgrounds does. We would probably eliminate everything except for Santa. No more village, no more entertainment, no more vendors, to try to keep the crowd down as far as the parking issue down at the fairgrounds. We would try to keep it as a moving source, probably bringing them in and out right there by the Veterans Memorial. It's going to be, in my opinion, probably about a quarter of the size of the Cruise Through for the first year. We'd try to put up the biggest and best that we could, hoping that potentially maybe down the road, we could utilize some of the open space there by the practice football field, between the practice football field and maybe the Veterans Memorial. Maybe we could put in a road or something to add another curve. When we started at the fairgrounds 5 years ago, it was nothing really to write home about, but as we found our problems and our issues with traffic and such, we realized, well, we can bring in gravel, make temporary roads that only sit there for a month or two, and then take the gravel out and such like that. And it seemed to work really well, and now we have it down pat. We're concerned, of course, about we had a little bit of vandalism at the fairgrounds, but we're kind of projecting maybe a little bit more in the open park area. But we're trying to prepare for closed circuit television cameras that would be brought in and removed. All that would need to be worked out. But my question to you, or maybe just to put a little bug in your ear, is we do need to try to figure this out within the next 2 months, because it takes us 12 months to get this thing perfect. We have a meeting this Saturday with the Fair Board to give them our final offer and them to give us their final offer. The public is welcome to come. We're going to ask that there's no comments or no communication during the meeting, maybe after if we have time. But I'm just asking if maybe we could consider using your park if we cannot come to grips or come to terms with the fairgrounds. We have another meeting with Auglaize Village on February 8th. But like I said before, I'd really like to utilize your park if we can.
My only concern, may I, 100% for, that'd be great. Power, I don't know if we have the power. to
I
handle
kind
that.
of, yeah, we kind of were at that point at the fairgrounds when we started 5 years ago, and we
Okay.
did have to drop power cables and such from the transformers up above, and brought in some generators to run it the first year. We do have several of those.
I don't know what's down there, but
Yeah, I did talk to Mr. and Mrs. Shull just on quick Facebook. I said, could you please describe to me where some of the outlets are on the left side of the park, so I didn't have to get out of my car, because I'm kind of lazy that way. And, they told me there was a couple in the dugouts and one at maybe a power pole and maybe a concession stand. So we have miles of extension cord, and everything runs on LED.
okay.
So it doesn't take a lot. All of the Christmas cards, that was run on one extension cord. And that's not a joke. So we bring everything to the table that we need. We wouldn't ask for manpower. We wouldn't ask for your lift trucks. We wouldn't ask for you to volunteer and work. If it is something that would be conceivable for you people, we would sign a contract, bring liability insurance, all just like we have to at the fairgrounds. If somebody's injured at the facility, we have to cover them. So it's just.
In my opinion, and you people know I was going, I think that the village, speaking only for myself, but I think the village would bend over backwards to help you. However, I don't want to see you in the park, because I don't want to see you go backwards. And that's what the cruise through would happen. What happened to it is, you've already said it would be back to a quarter of. I don't want to see that happen. And the Fair Board, if they will not negotiate with you, I've lived in this town all my life, and they always said the first year there wasn't a fair there, that would be the end of it. If they don't work with you, I don't think you're gonna see much of a fair there in August. So, I'm 100% behind you for the park or any other place we might have, but I don't wanna see you go backwards.
We,
You work too hard to get where you are, and because of a board that has too much family on it.
One example, I'm not sure how many of you have been down to the cruise through, but the Eagles had sponsored a very cool Santa that is longer than Fort Wayne's one on the side of their building, and it's animated and it's pretty spectacular, and they spent quite a bit of money on that display. There's absolutely nowhere to put that up down at the park. The only place we could conceive to put it would be maybe the water tower, but what it's on right now is the side of a building, so but we'd need to work on those kind of things. Went through Michigan International Speedway, and they have freestanding things that are 3 stories high, so we would need to communicate with other venues. Maybe the first year we couldn't put up that display, but we could maybe put it up the second year. So I appreciate your consideration. So.
Personally, I wish you luck with the Fair Board. I hope it works out for both venues. I think they need you, and you definitely and Hicksville needs you. What you brought to this community with this event, and you put a lot of work and time in it. I was talking to Dave and some of the other people around town. you bring a lot of people to town. The restaurants are full, there's just people all over the place, you know, doing different things, so I definitely don't want to lose it. And I really hope it works out, but I don't know if there's something we can do locally, again, personal talking, but absolutely.
It would be important to sustain the Veterans Memorial in its solemn, respectable manner that it's in, and that does concern me that people are going to try to get out of their car and go walk around and sit on the tombstones and such, you know, the memorial, and that would be something that we would have to address. So we do have concerns, of course, but I just really appreciate the town and all of their support. We, you know, right now we don't have the police support from in town because that's county property. So the sheriff have been supporting us, but when we get into Hicksville, then now we're talking, we're gonna block up all of, probably all of Spencerville Street, probably all of the street that goes up by the Shell. So.
Well, Denise, we're behind you.
Yeah, 100%.
We know whatever we can do.
100%.
When do you get an answer from the Fair Board?
We have an answer by February 14th.
February 14th?
We'll have a very good idea by the end of the meeting Saturday.
I would sure think so.
And where is the meeting?
It is down at the gathering space. It will be, it's in the newspaper
Gathering
this,
place out here?
yeah.
Here in Smith's building.
Yeah. So, do you want us there? Would that help or not?
Excuse me?
You want a lot of people there again?
I don't know how many will come. We were very impressed and guys
Yeah,
warmed our
there's
heart.
probably over 100 people there.
Yeah. So, we would like to think that that's helping. I don't know for sure if it is or if it isn't. I don't know. But what they brought to the plate was a $9,000 contract, and they wanted us to pay 100% of every utility bill down there for the month of November and December. I called them back. I said, I want to clarify that we don't use any natural gas or water at all in the month of November. But yet you've included that in your proposal. Is that a misprint? No, that is true. That's what we want. So when you add those bills onto the $9,000, you're talking $14,700. We just wrote them a check for $16,000. Can't do it anymore. So we're right back to 75-25, and that's, we can't live, we can't survive. So.
Thank you for explaining that to us.
Thank you for your time.
Yep. Be safe driving.
Safe trip.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Yeah.
Thanks for your time.
Bye. Okay, I believe we're at the approved bills list, and there was a one in your packet, and then there was a small one on the table tonight, so we'll approve them both together.
I have a question, Mayor. We have 13 things that have been charged against the refuge department. We don't even have a refuge anymore, do we?
Yes, we most certainly do,
And why would we maintain the refuge department?
Because we collect,
because we have a recycling center, and we collect leaves and brush,
well, we collect the bills too, so
and we collect the bill. Yeah.
the billing goes directly in there to pay Whirler. Whirler will be paid right out of there.
So we still need all these uniforms from several different companies and
Let me see what you're looking at here.
we got the refuse electricity. We got calculators and Schroeder's.
Hep B, yeah.
We got phone, we got, I guess that's, uniforms, computer support, uniforms,
Yep.
heat, refuse, dump truck tires, I'm assuming that's one of the dump trucks with a plow on it. Refuge paper, refuge winter wear.
Cheryl can probably answer that question better, but it looks like it's been done that way because, to spread out the responsibility of all the costs. It was
For
done
billing.
over-
For billing and having the office over here, all of and the new calculator is split between all three departments.
Okay.
Because that was an enterprise fund. Well, technically it still is. It generates its own revenue.
Okay. That was the only question I had, by golly. And if nobody else has any questions,
I do.
okay.
The downtown tree for $700, where is that? What happened there?
Well, that tree died. I think it's like at Pat King's room.
One tree?
Way
Pharmacy,
more. This way.
pharmacy area?
Yeah, it's close.
Yeah, one of those trees died.
One tree, $700.
Yeah.
Dug the old one out,
Okay, that.
balled it back in. Doesn't need to be okay.
No.
New guy. That was the new guy. That was done before. Oh, new guy. That was done
He
before
likes
me.
trees more than the old guy in that scene did evidently.
That was already PO
Done
for it.
before you?
Well,
PO for it and everything.
I mean, one thing about it is we probably buy, a larger tree to go along with the sizes that's already planted. It's not, we don't start with a twig, like, so the tree's gonna be a more costly tree because it's gonna be a little bit larger in size. But, I mean, I still don't know if that's like in the ballpark for labor and tree and everything.
Not a bad deal.
Yeah, it's not bad. Better one place at the school, trees that died.
Oh my God.
Well, depends on, we've had some bigger trees that we've bought, smaller ones, and just because of the cost of them, because they can be up over $1,000 just to replace one tree.
Okay.
So there again, if there's no questions for anything else on billing, I move we pay the bills.
I'll second it.
Roll call, please.
Baker,
Yes.
Bassett,
Yes.
Ridgway,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Beverly,
Yes.
Barth.
Yes.
Thank you. Moving onward for boards and commissions, I see that we have Hicksville Union Cemetery minutes in the packet, along with the 2017 financial report. Sheila, would you like to say anything about that stuff?
Does anybody have any questions? I can answer them. Do you want to know what the concrete for the fault setup? How about the curbs?
The fault setup, is that where you just put the floor down for the stones?
No, I
No?
do not think so. I'm not real positive on it, but I think it is for when there's bad weather and they have a funeral. They're gonna bring them up.
Oh,
Okay.
that'd been talked about for years and years. So
Yeah, a lot of things
it's
happen.
gonna come to fruition now.
We're gonna try it real hard. I figured you would really question the curbs.
Haven't got to that yet.
Yeah, but I think it's a neat idea. And Eric, I don't know if you were on the park board when they did that down there. Ron Bauer was talking about it. And it is neat, around the stone there where they put the curb, like right here, and how they brung it up. It's a neat job.
The
And
difference is, those curbs are not in traffic. There's no way for them to get run over
where?
at the park. You can't run over those curbs.
Why?
They're about 5, 6 foot off the road.
That?
Well,
No.
and they're against that stone.
No, no.
The curbs.
The big rock.
Whoop, listen to me. The curb that's around the big rock, the curb goes down the street, all those are non-traffic bearing curbs. There's no footer underneath them or anything, they're poured on top of the ground.
Oh.
And if you put that around the cemetery and cars run across them, they're gone. They wouldn't be there, I'll say 2 years to be very generous.
Well, this here would be, it's where you make the sharp turn out there. They gouge it bad, everybody. And it's real soft out there, so. I think it's a good idea. Drive out by there and
It
see.
would be a good idea.
And it looks better than the
If
posts.
You
Put 'em-
put a poured curb in,
Okay.
not a poured on top of the ground, but put a footer under it so it'll bear traffic.
Okay. We're gonna have another meeting, I'll mention that. And I don't know, oh, the trash pickup out there. What can they do? They don't have it anymore. And when they do the cleanup, they're really concerned about that because the guys just whipped in there and picked it up, or, they threw it out by the street.
Can't
And the
they
guy,
just get a dumpster for cleanup?
I don't know.
Can you do that, Administrator?
Well, we still have a garbage truck. We have lots of trucks.
So what do? Just call the guys and have them come get it?
I would make that suggestion. I don't think it's, something that's beyond what we can do. We're used to doing that. The question I would raise is, how would council feel if we did that for them, and then later down the road, someone else asks, and they want to get rid of their dumpster that they're currently paying for, and pretty soon it turns into, well, You pick up for them, why don't you
I
pick
don't
up
think they
for
want,
us?
they don't want a dumpster, I'm sure.
One of the differences might be is this is a Hicksville Union Cemetery. We own it too.
It's part of.
Right.
It's part of the village.
Yeah.
But if
So-
you get a dumpster, and, you know, you can get those from very
Smaller.
small to very large. And if you put a dumpster back there, you're not messing up his schedule with his workers and stuff. You put it back there, they've got a week or 2 or 3 or a month to fill it. Call the man, they come take it away, he doesn't have to mess with it.
Okay.
It's far more cost effective for a dumpster.
You mean just a one-time deal?
Do they
I
take
thought you might
their,
leave one out there, huh?
obviously they have a lot of brush, limbs, things like that. Do they take those to the recycling lot?
I don't know, they never talk about
Burn
it.
them all back. Yeah.
Which I can.
Is the fire chief there?
It's out of town.
Oh, it is out of
It's
town.
out of town.
Any other questions for Sheila?
What was the
Sale of-
discussion for the salary? What was the-
Diane, they give him a raise. It was a raise or a bonus. So we gave him a raise, and they do deserve it.
I just wonder if they had concerns or something on it. That's what- Okay.
Just wanted to let you know we did.
Have you sold a lot more lots this year, right?
Yeah.
What's the percentage?
Done well.
Because of the new addition.
Right.
That's why.
And they maintain it so well, and Zane puts a lot of time in out
He
there.
does.
He does a lot of things that draws.
That's almost double what you usually. Yeah.
So it's-
That's the key.
The guys are doing
That's
really
the biggest
good.
revenue out there.
And Zane is like,
He's on.
yes, he is. He cares. Does a good job. So, and we're having another meeting the 24th, right here. So,
Thank you. And then revolving loan committee, there are minutes in your packet. And I believe Troy had legislation ready to read later tonight. So then we will go on to council committee reports. There was a water, sewer, and refuge committee meeting on January 8th, and are there minutes in here somewhere?
yep.
I thought I saw, oh, there, mine,
Maybe.
I got
It's
mine.
the city.
Some higher agencies and see if they went from there. We have another meeting with them on the 22nd, I think, to see if they went. They're kind of asking for our support, maybe.
Well, as of today, I mean, they went to the EPA in Bowling Green, and the EPA said they're fine with it. They have no problem with it at all. That it's, and tossed it back to the Defiance County Health Department. Well, they had an idea of just going on to the state health department, because there's nothing to stop it in writing that says it can have a well and a septic on the same lot. They have to be a certain distance apart, they realize that. But Justin told me today that he called the Ohio State Health Department, whatever the name is, and they said it's a county issue. They don't care, they don't have anything in it. It's a county issue, but Defiance County Health Department's reply is, well, we've never done this before, and so they were just, trying to get our support. And even if we came up with any new ideas or anything that would help them. So.
Why would the Defiance County Health Board say they've never done anything like that? They did it right across the street.
Yeah.
That housing addition is well and septic. They did it right down there where I grew up.
Where's across the street from the health department? Because I don't know.
No, across from the golf course.
Any better than that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think they were saying the number of homes on.
And down where
55.
I used to live, well, there's 6 or 7 houses on Case
maybe I
Pier.
should say to the
That's-
magnitude of 34 lots. Yeah, they've done 10 or whatever, but
Well,
not to this
same
magnitude.
difference.
But you're also talking,
Right.
you're going from 9 acres to 50 acres. So if those guys down in Defiance County can't do the math and figure this out,
But Tony and Justin are just having a difficult time with the county health department. So I guess if you come up with any, if you know of anybody or someone on the health board, it's the Board of Health. Some of us went down and met with the employees from the health department and had a discussion about it. But it's got to go to the Board of Health. There's board members that evidently will approve it or deny it, and those are the people that need to have an
Correct me
understanding.
if I'm wrong, but, I've put in a lot of those sewage systems for single homes and multiple homes, and the only way that the health board can tell you no is they have to tell you why they said no.
Yeah, they got rules and I mean, if you were just putting in, building a new house on acreage out there, they got rules about how big the septic's gotta be and where it can be it's gotta be so big.
Exactly.
You gotta have so much distance between them and,
Yep.
and if you're,
So-
they can't just throw up their hands and say, well, we've never done it
They can't
before.
tell,
They gotta point to some
they
violation
can't
of
tell
their
those two guys
regulations.
no.
Oh.
They have to say either yes or
Here's the part of our
no.
regulations that you're not in compliance with.
Exactly. So
We can't do it.
I think Justin and Tony just need a bit more firm with the boys down there.
Does Evansport, Ohio have their own wastewater treatment?
Yes.
Yeah, they do.
They do. There's 37 homes there.
That got mandated about 15 or 18 years ago.
So, thank you for letting me interrupt your committee
you're fine.
report. You can continue.
Like I said, I know you've met with them several times, we've met with them several times. They're frustrated. They've gotten back to the table with the health board. And just to reiterate, I think the health board came to them this last time and said, well, if you get city water, we can maybe let you do the septic out there.
They're trying to push it off is all they're trying to do.
Sure.
We can't do that here. Same thing vice versa with the septic and the water. That's just something we can't afford to do.
They have to, even if they're saying that, they have to give factual evidence why that can't happen.
Like through the Ohio Revised Code, you gotta say this is the
Yes.
reason.
Or their own, I know each county health department has some discretion in their rules, because I know back from when I was in my private practice of law, when we were doing real estate deals, the difference between what Paulding County Health Department required, say, as far as septic systems, and what Defiance County required were totally different.
Yeah.
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 So, and so there is some discretion, it's not like the state puts out a
Politics was
rule.
kind of like, don't let the neighbor see you in the backyard.
But so there is some discretionary amount in there, but they do have a whole set of rules. They got regulations. My thought would be, and I don't even know who's on that board or whatever, but I'd just totally bypass those guys that are working, taking the calls in there on a day-to-day and find somebody potentially friendly. I mean, there's gotta be, I know there's at least a couple of doctors that are on it. I've only had limited contact with the actual board, but there's gotta be a businessman or two or somebody that's on there that's gonna understand, hey, we're trying to work with you and do what we need to do to comply, but we're just running into a brick wall. I mean, that's the person, and I don't know, I could look up and see if I know.
But the
anyone.
biggest obstacle would be the EPA, and they passed that, that's huge, so.
Yeah.
You don't think Defiance County's not approving it because they want to know the locations of each one on every lot, do you?
They showed him that.
Yeah. They want the lot size down.
They want the village to run water and sewer out to them would be my
Sure.
guess.
Exactly, because Defiance County and the health department have fought so much out there on that Indian, whatever it's called, and several
Or
others.
Gordon Creek
Yeah.
out here, I mean, the county's
They
always trying
want-
to get rid of that.
Yeah, but those are, what is it?
Indian
Trail?
Bridge Lane.
Indian Ridge Lane?
Yeah.
Okay, that's all septic tanks.
Yeah.
But lots and lots and lots and lots of them. Gordon Creek, that's just,
They have their own
that's a
system.
plant that they don't wanna
Managed.
babysit
Yeah.
anymore.
Yep.
And the way that I'm hearing that Justin and Tony wanna divide that up out there, it would be a piece of cake. Very simple. It would be effective.
So if there's anything, anybody down there to talk to,
I'll
your
look tomorrow and see
contacts,
if I know anybody
your
that's on the
friends,
board.
please talk to
Kisner's
them.
one of them, right, that owns the restaurant, he's on the board.
Is he? I know him.
And it's a couple doctors.
I'm sure there's a couple doctors. on it.
Kistner still on it?
Who?
Kistner still on?
Yes.
So,
Something else I wanted to bring up, we enacted back in April of last year, percentage increase changes in our utility bills. The base rate now goes to $30 starting in January here, and the usage rate for both water and sewer went up 3%. So the per 1,000 gallons for sewer is now at $9.17 per 1,000 gallons, and water went up to $3.31 per 1,000 gallons. If anybody wants to see, Dawn did a breakdown of what the utility bills would change per 1,000 gallons, and it goes up to 10,000 gallons total, but you could see what your average bill would run on this sheet here. And also, she wanted me to remind people, due to the weather conditions, December was estimated reads due to the cold and things like that. So when your bill comes in February, you'll see it estimated on that for your December bill. That's all I have.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions?
The gentleman that was here 2 meetings ago, did he get any results? Anything resolved with his water bill?
The guy on Arthur Street,
Yeah, was it Arthur?
West Arthur.
I haven't heard more about it. He hasn't been back in to talk to Dawn, I believe.
Nobody?
I'd like to set up a meeting with the police, fire, and EMS committee sometime. I know you two are both on it, Sheila and Ron. So either, maybe after the meeting, we can pick it.
Okay.
Are there any other committees that would like to make a report or meet about anything? A couple issues came to my attention last week, and I just told them to go to you as the ordinance committee chair, just maybe some things that just weren't being enforced or whatever, so those are your favorite. So, I don't know if anybody went to you or not, but, okay,
Not yet, anyways.
all right. So, there's no other council committee reports to give, we'll go on to the administrator's report.
It's in the packet. I don't have anything earth-shattering to report, other than the fact that AEP was supposed to start today out on Haver Drive putting lights in, which is good news. I don't think they started today, though.
I drove out there and I did not see them.
The dig date is actually set on the OOPS tickets for Wednesday. So hopefully we'll start to see some activity out there on that. That's pretty much it. Everything else is in the report, if you got any questions.
What about down at the waterways plant, it said the extended freezing temperatures? What happened? What's going on?
It just got so cold that a decanter froze up and it couldn't push the sludge anymore and it started coming up over the walls.
Never happened before? I've never heard of it happening before.
It probably
It's been colder
didn't
than
because
that
it's
before.
probably a maintenance issue.
I was
And that's,
wondering.
what, 10 years old now? So it's probably what it is a maintenance thing. After 10 years, those parts don't last forever. I mean, just like with the clarifier. But we got it all cleaned up, and hopefully the decanter's still good. We can still use it at least, and we'll go from there. But there are a lot of maintenance issues we have to address down there now that it's at least a 10-year-old plant. It was exceeding capacity for all those years, taking on more water than it was designed to. So it's going to be time to start, and this is all new to me, being from a lagoon perspective where I came from. But lagoons are a little simpler. But yeah, we're going to have to pay much more close attention to maintenance.
That's why when I was asking, I was wondering if it was something that created that.
I think a lot of it was just the cold weather. Extended cold weather, not just a couple nights of freezing shouldn't cause anything.
Does everybody know about your water main break and stuff that you had?
Oh,
Where was it located?
you mean the one on Denon Drive? And then there was one on Maple, yeah. Yeah.
It's my street.
I just figured that was routine, and
Wrong end.
don't call me, I'm sleeping. But they took care of it, they did a good job. And they didn't tear up the new driveway down there either. They got like 2 feet from it. Because Mike called me and said, I want to thank you for not tearing up my new driveway. I said, don't thank me. But yeah, that was is that an 8-inch or, it's an odd-sized main. The other one out on Denon was in front of Stan's place was the underground utility got into that. And once again, we can't really put it off on them because it was kind of like the one on Mill Creek. You can't mark those, those lines are non-traceable pipe. So they're just drilling where they think they're supposed to go, and they caught it, and then Stan had a small little big jacuzzi in his front yard. So.
I had to hear about it.
I'll bet you did.
Sounds like the guys did a good job.
I asked him if he wanted cement or plastic in the bottom to finish it off.
The liner.
I said they should have just left it open.
The whole thing was your fault, Larry?
Apparently, yes.
According to Stan.
Yeah.
I want to thank the guys in your departments for doing a good job with snow removal. I saw them out there.
Yes.
They had shovels cleaning up the corners, and they're on it when they can and get it done and throughout the whole town, so they're doing a good job.
Yeah.
I will pass that along.
All right.
They'll be out tonight too, probably, if it keeps like it is. They'll go out for a couple hours just to try to knock it down so it's not passable in the morning.
Snowplow guys, they're sitting in warm cabs. You know, I've always said that I admire our water guys, and everybody that gets involved. When you're out there below zero, and you're all wet trying to fix a water main, and they don't mess around. They get her done, and my hat's off to them.
Yeah. Okay, if there are no more questions for Jim, we will go on to the solicitor's report.
Okay, the first thing I have, and for point of explanation, is this ordinance 2018-01. As you remember, several months ago, there was discussion about the changes the state was trying to enact in the way they wanted to take over taxation on some of the business like returns, and then there was that whole lawsuit that we discussed. And as a point of contention to me, I could have swore that when we sat here, we voted to join that lawsuit. We did.
We waited too long.
Oh,
we did.
Is that what? Because I remember Ron voted no because he said,
we paid
"Boom, might as well just throw it." It was like $1,000.
$1,000.
Right.
Bucks, and it was a 50-50 chance.
Right. And I remember that conversation, but I thought everybody else voted yes.
Yeah.
But that it was a timing issue. Is that what it was?
That's what Cheryl said.
Okay. I just
To be an emergency measure.
Yeah, and
So we
you
still have
didn't
our 1,000.
pass- So consequently, from what I read on the OML website last week, if you didn't get in on the lawsuit, you may not get the benefit.
No, and that was one of the things that I brought up when we were talking about the argument is if you're not part of the lawsuit that you might not, but not in the grand scheme of things, but here's where it comes into play is us trying to deal with this. They filed to get basically a restraining order against the state from enforcing the provisions of this law, which is fine because if they would have gotten that, it would have applied to even those of us who weren't part of the lawsuit. The problem is, like lawyers do, they agreed, basically the state agreed for the people that are in the lawsuit that they needed another 30 days in order to make their arguments and everything like that. So as to the people that are in the lawsuit, it won't be enforced against them, but it technically is still going into effect on January 31st. I think it's like February 25th or something.
Against the rest of us.
Right, because the people that are part of the lawsuit, it's just an agreement amongst them as part of the lawsuit that they get, basically the plaintiffs, all the villages and cities that are the plaintiffs in the lawsuit, they said, okay, you can take 30 more days to respond to our motion that we filed that we were trying to get done, as long as you postpone it as to us until the judge makes a decision. So probably in the end of February or beginning of March, what's likely to happen is the judge is going to grant some restraining order against enforcing some of these provisions. But we can't take the chance. And so what I've spent the last couple of days trying to do, and to be honest, it's not quite done, this ordinance comes with it a whole section that's just to do with net profit taxes of businesses and things like that. So I gotta line up our old ordinance, the Ohio Revised Code, and this, and insert a bunch of sections into they give you like a sample ordinance to pass, but it has a bunch of blanks, and you gotta take from this section and take in there. So what I would like to do with this is do a first reading of this tonight, and then we're gonna have to have a special meeting to pass it before the 31st. That's the way to do it properly. Probably Tuesday or Wednesday of this week, I'll have the rest of those done by then, and I can get them to Cheryl. I think she included in there
They'll have
the exhibit with all the blanks in it. Those are the blanks that I've been working because it kind of came up the way they agreed to this extension and everything, and through meetings, so I
thought the extension, the part that I read, or what I gathered from reading it, was that that would give them time to appeal.
I don't think it was an appeal yet. I could have read it wrong. To be honest, I only glanced at it other than to see, oh shit, we got to do something.
So, if,
Take delay. Oh shoot, I said oh shoot. I got young kids. Oh shoot, we got to do something to get it done by the end of the month. So,
what do you want to do to pass it?
well, that's what I say is we just need to. I'm going to do a first reading tonight, and then we're going to have to do a special meeting after I get those last things added in, just to pass it then. And the difference would be we don't ever want anybody that's a resident or that pays taxes in the village to be able to come after the 31st and say, well, because you didn't update this and the state says your code has to include this, now all of a sudden, I don't know, you village income taxes, or this doesn't apply to me or whatever. We don't want that to obviously be in effect, so that's where that's standing. So we'll just do a first reading on it tonight. Ordinance number 2018-01, first reading by caption only. An ordinance to amend the Village of Hicksville Income Tax Code to adopt sections 718.80 through 718.95 of the Ohio Revised Code and declaring an emergency. And then the other thing that I have is Resolution 2018-01, first reading by caption only, a resolution authorizing the revolving loan fund committee to enter into an agreement with Adroit Thinking Inc. doing business as 5 Acre Mill and declaring an emergency, and that was the subject of the revolving loan that the minutes were in.
You want to pass this tonight?
I move we suspend the rules.
I'll second that.
They're trying to get their project moving in their
Roll call,
expansion.
please.
Second. Baker?
Yep.
Bassett?
Yes.
Ridgway?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Beverly?
Yes.
Barth?
Yes.
So it'd be second and third reading by caption only of Resolution 2018-01, a resolution authorizing a revolving loan fund committee to enter into an agreement with Adroit Thinking Inc. doing business as 5 Acre Mill and declaring an emergency.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Ridgway?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Bassett?
Yes.
Beverly?
Yes.
Barth?
Yes.
Baker?
Yep.
Diane, you, a couple meetings ago, you had said you were talking about seeing if he'd want to come into the village. Has that went any further?
Well, I did. I mean, ask him, and he said he hadn't thought about it anymore.
It looked like in an email that I got, I think Diane, you got that email, I think it was from Jerry.
I just
I think there was
they're
some
yours.
discussion where Jerry
No,
was
they gotta be signed.
helping him put his finger on like what he would gain by being in the village as opposed to what it might cost him for being there. Because there, I did see in the numbers
Today, the
that,
15th.
Yep.
because they're working with him on
I
some
know, we
loan
don't have a
programs for
calendar.
his expansion. And there was some discussion about if he was in the village, then he'd be eligible for this. I can't even remember what it was, some tax incentive, right? There was some,
Right.
yeah, that he'd be eligible, and so this would be available to him. If not, he can go through the county or the state for this, and they were comparing figures. So I don't know if he's still considering it all, but I did see that those numbers were there. So.
Have you seen this paperwork yet?
I talked to Dennis Miller on Friday, and he said he was working on finishing it up.
Okay.
So I have not seen it yet.
All right.
Yep, I talked to him on the phone on Friday afternoon.
Okay. Thank
So
you.
I would imagine early this week or whatever, I'll see it and I'll make
Do you
whatever
foresee a
revisions.
problem with it?
Pardon me?
Do you foresee a problem with it?
Oh, no.
No.
No. It's just that our paperwork sometimes gets missing in action.
Yeah.
And nobody
No, I
knows if
specifically
it's a-
called him to see where it was, and he said he was working on finishing it up, and so I anticipate We wouldn't have probably worked today, but tomorrow or Wednesday, I'll see it, and then I usually mark it up a little bit, make some revisions, and get it back to him, and then he sets up a meeting with the borrower, and he goes and gets all the paperwork and everything signed. And I guess I'll be the one to bring it up since somebody else mentioned it. I assume at the end, we need to have an executive session to potential real estate acquisition was the one thing I heard. Was there something else?
Good.
That's all.
Okay.
Okay, anything else for Troy? Anybody have any questions? Thank you, Troy.
Yep.
Okay, we are ready to go on to the department head reports. Police Chief Stickney, you really gave a great year-end report. Cheryl scanned it to all of you, I believe, so that you could review it and see if you had any questions for him tonight, but it was very detailed, very interesting for me to read. I don't know about anybody else.
Thank you. Mostly that's due to Julie having that spreadsheet on her computer, so it makes it a lot easier. Just hit a few highlights on that. We did have 2,857 calls, 41 juvenile arrests. We had 51 crashes that we handled. Those would be the public property crashes, like on the streets only. It does not include private property crashes. Those are a different thing. For adult traffic citations, there were over 402 issued. Adult criminal arrests, there were 186. And of the adult traffic stuff that we had 60 driving under suspensions that were issued, citations, and 20 OVIs that we had. So we had a pretty busy year. Were there any questions about the summary? Glad to answer it. Okay. We did have, as far as the hiring process, we did have 5 applicants. We're looking at interviewing those people right now and doing background checks on them. And I need to get with the police, fire, EMS committee about looking at those people. Any other questions?
All right, thank you very much. And I do not see Fire Chief Kramer here tonight.
Scott just told me to let you guys know he has nothing to report.
Okay. And then EMS Chief Cody,
I have
do you have?
nothing to report unless you guys have questions for me.
Your report was very good. It was nice to see it for the year end. You did a good job.
Thank you. It took me a while. I got some help from Cheryl.
Well, Cheryl will help you whenever you need it. Just ask her.
Yep.
Yeah, I know that's a complicated one to figure out
It was.
with how much you're billing, what the townships are paying, you know, and what we're not collecting on.
Give you different numbers.
Yeah.
Is everything going well over there?
Yeah.
So
It's been quiet, so.
I kind of asked Cheryl for a comparison of prior years, but how does your number of runs this year compare to previous years, last year, or 2016, do you know?
16 to 17, we were down, it was like 60 or so runs for the year.
Down 60. Well, that's great.
Comparing 60 to 17. We're at 16 so far this year.
Okay. Well, that was a good report. Anybody have questions for Cody about his report? Thank you. And we have Val Shaw, our park director here. Do you have anything you want to say?
Not really.
Things seem pretty quiet down there. Have there been any problems at the sledding hill?
Not that I know of.
I always enjoy so much driving past and seeing the kids down there sledding.
Yeah. We did notice, somebody took like a railing thing down so they could drive back there.
Oh, really?
Yes, it's over by the Little League, that path was there, so we put that back.
It wasn't just the chain going across between the ball fields?
Yeah.
I noticed someone back there and I thought, oh, I would want to get as close as I could to that sledding hill too. And I'd like a fire pit back there.
Yes.
So it's warmer. All right.
Couldn't those things happen?
I don't know. Thank you, Al. Okay, well, we are ready to go on to the fiscal officer's report, and it looks like she has lots of things to report.
All the year-end reports, except for the cash statement. That's the first one in January. You also have, I think it's out of order, revolving loan report. I stuck in there at the last minute.
I had a question on that. The Haynes Trucking, we were talking about them for a while, if they were ever gonna build out there. We got the-
Yeah, I mean, they've
Did we
been
ever get any
paying.
further on that? I know they're making their payments and everything, but
Other than he said he was trying to get drivers and all that business.
We have just let them skate along, and they are by no means
Trying
in
to do anything.
following,
They're
doing
into the
their
contract?
share of the contract,
Yeah.
yeah, the agreement. He told me one time, hey, he said, if you want me to just pay it off, let me know.
Yeah, just call it due and pay it off or whatever.
But, you know, I don't know what you want to do. Last year, I tried to get him to come in to the office sometime when he was in Hicksville and his mother was ill and he couldn't get to Ohio, and, you know, that was 5 months ago, so I don't know if anything's changed. But they're just paying their monthly loan fee, and
How many more years do they have? I see the date of the loan. I don't see the balance.
Balance to.
I don't see.
7.
when
It was probably 7 to start, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Probably. So I don't know how long's that been.
So we're getting
3 years?
3%.
Like I said, if somebody wants to put his feet to the fire, say he's not living up and call it due or something, I'm sure he'd pay it off and be done.
I mean,
something we should address again.
I don't know that there would, you know, I mean, if he leaves, I guess he's got a piece of property sitting
Right,
there
right.
that,
That'd be the revolving loans
Yeah.
issue, not ours,
Maybe at the
right?
next revolving loan meeting that we have, I mean, I don't think it justifies calling one, but
No.
hopefully somebody's
Well, it doesn't
working.
seem right that he
Right.
makes all these promises that he's,
Right.
there's gonna be a building, there's gonna be this, there's that.
Employees.
And then do nothing.
Very low interest loan and
Yeah.
good faith.
Well, and
Nothing. And
my,
he's got a piece of ground sitting there that he can make money on.
my thought probably is that, when they changed things out there, I don't know how that affected the, when whatever they did they get acquired, did they merge, did they do
Well,
something? They did something where.
He was
He was
Sabre?
losing a lot of the transportation out
Yeah.
there long before this.
Oh, he was, yeah. Yeah, so,
He blamed it all on no drivers. but-
right.
okay.
Then you have the year-end income tax report. And this is the new utility report on one page, trying to get it down so that it's easy to read. On the other side is the mayor's report.
I love this non-billed report of different places in our community. And I was very happy to see that the pool, or the pool only used 74,000 gallons of water. Because some years it's been hundreds. And so I'm very happy about the 74,000 that they used this year. And I always find these really interesting. And so this total unbilled amount amounts to $728, just for your information in dollars. But, yeah, this is a report I like.
Cheryl, are you talking about the statement of cash flow? The general fund? Are you concerned about that?
Am I?
Yeah, the general fund.
Not yet.
The ending balance, I guess that's kind of stuck out.
That's pretty scary, and that unencumbered balance, yeah.
Yes. That's what caught my eye just when I got that. I guess Finance Committee can talk about that, but. Okay. I like it to be closer to $1 million, which it is.
Before purchase orders.
You're right.
Well, you have a couple checks that were in your bills tonight that are going to be reimbursed. And then I also
Okay.
have $150,000 coming in from OWDA for another project, so.
Okay, so
But those
that'll
aren't out
bump
of
it up.
general fund.
Ah, crap.
That's not gonna help the general fund.
Okay, I just kind of stuck out at me, so.
Hello, Peter.
Okay, thanks.
The next report is Cody's report for the EMS, if anybody has any questions. And I have the mayor's court year-end report. December's on the back of it, but that's for the whole year. We have the list of all the village-owned real estate and the tax we paid. And the list of last year's permits and applications that, for Mike Bailey. And then I also stuck in this cybersecurity webinar. If anyone's interested, just go online to the auditor's website. Click on, it's free.
Have everything covered, Cheryl?
Unless anyone has questions.
All right. Any questions for Cheryl regarding that?
You're doing a fine job, young lady.
Well, going on to the mayor's report, I have all kinds of just loose odds and ends here, it seems like. I just want to remind the residents and maybe the landlords to remind their tenants to take their garbage cans in away from the street after the garbage pickup, because there's people that are just leaving them out by the curb continuously. And that doesn't agree with our ordinance. And then I'd also like to remind people to clean their snow off the sidewalks. And, if you can help your neighbor out with that matter, that's great too. There are some really great people in town that I notice take their tractors all the way down the sidewalk and really help out their neighbors, and that's really great. But, it's hard for people to get down the street when you haven't cleaned your sidewalks off. And I would like to thank Mark Savage. He took down the house on Smith Street for us, but he also did a special favor and helped out a resident get their sidewalk put back in place that she could not do it by herself. So I'd like to tell Mark thanks for doing that as a special favor. And I don't know if your guys had any trouble with people following the signs for parking after a 2-inch snowfall, but if they do, I guess people need to be reminded that they can't have their cars out in the posted areas after a 2-inch snowfall because plows need to get through.
I apologize. I was going to mention that in my report. I did have a comment, and if you read my report about, just get it to the curb. We asked the owners to try to get out and push it to the sidewalk. Today was a good indication where it was hit or miss. Some owners are out there all the time right away, getting their snow off the sidewalk. And then once it's past the curb, we can get rid of it. And I would like to make the point that we always push the snow from the curb into the road. Some will fluff over the edge of the plow blade, but we don't want to push it right back up onto the sidewalk after the store owners have moved it into the street. So we reverse push it back up into the road and then make another pass and another pass. And there was some confusion on that today with one of the store owners, and I wanted to make that clear that we always push it back up into the road first, and some still going to spill over the plow. And that's probably what the concern was.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, speaking of that, I saw your plow out there, so I said, I'm gonna go push it in the street so we can, put it in the pile. He took off. I say he'll get it later.
Maybe the pile didn't catch.
Driving, but I got my gloves and hat on, I shoveled it out to the street, and I was like, there they go. But they do a good job. And real quick, Mayor, I'm sorry, I was speaking about the garbage. I called Warler after we had that discussion about the general pickup at the holidays, and they said, we will not get out of the truck, because they know people have extra garbage during the holidays, cardboard, recycling, and or garbage. And he said, we do it in every town, but they will try to pick up a little bit extra outside the containers during that season without having a general pickup.
I saw them doing that. I thought that was really nice.
Michelle said that personally, and she said it's just something we do with every town. We know there's gonna be more, so.
That's only through the holidays.
Right.
The holidays are over.
Good point.
So, I thought they were.
That could start
asked if
something.
Things were going well in there, and they said, yes, so far so good. And, but they said they do that for other villages and cities.
Great. So in 2016, we passed a resolution that named Mike Bailey and Cheryl Smith to serve on the Defiance County Tax Incentive Review Council on behalf of the Village of Hicksville. Cheryl said that's going to be coming up in March.
February.
Oh, February. And it is just my intention to keep Mike and Cheryl in those positions, just so you know. I think you went last year, Cheryl said, for her place, but. And then we passed our CRA, our Community Reinvestment Area legislation, but we need to get our council set up. And 2 people are appointed by the mayor, 2 people are appointed by council, 1 person's appointed by the planning commission, and then the first 5 members appoint members 6 and 7. So I would like, and Mike Bailey is established as the CRA officer already in the legislation. So I would like the council to be thinking about who they would like to appoint to the CRA Housing Council. And I guess this is open to the public. If you are a resident and you have an interest in serving on the CRA Housing Council, that would be great. Please contact me at my office or any council member and tell them that. We'll be filling 7 positions for that. And it's my understanding that what that council will do is they will, anytime that there is a request for a CRA, and they will make sure that the number of years that it's being established and the percentage is all being followed correctly. Is that correct, Troy?
Yeah, and then on if there's commercial projects, you remember, those all get negotiated individually. The residential properties, it's basically, you make your application, if you otherwise qualify, you know you're getting whatever we said was in there. On the commercial projects, it's capped at what we said in there, but it could be for less years or could be for less percentage, depending on the amount. So in addition to making sure everybody qualifies under the guidelines, there are also some decisions that need to be made, particularly on commercial projects, that the board would be involved in.
So I would again reiterate, if you have any interest in serving on that, please contact us. So I believe that is the last of my council report.
I'd like to go into executive session for a possible property purchase.
Roll call, please.
Baker? Barth?
Yes.
Bassett?
Yes.
Beverly?
Yes.
Ridgway?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.